So we're here today in sunny Liverpool. We're going to give you 7 top tips of how to elevate your travel photography game and make your Insta photos pure fire using only a smartphone. You don't need the latest or greatest equipment in order to make your travel photography the best it can be. So before anything else, it's important to be aware of what your camera is capable of. As a rule of thumb, with phone cameras, they're not great in low light conditions, so always try and shoot outdoors and using natural light wherever possible. But get to know how to change certain settings, attain your focus, and adjust your exposure. Does your camera have a manual mode? Can it do time lapses and panoramas? The more confident you get with taking photos, the better you'll get at them and the quicker you'll get them as well. You don't want to miss a shot because you don't know how to turn the flash on. So in the world of photography, there's basically 2 different types of zoom. There's an optical zoom and a digital zoom. The key difference with optical zoom is it's actually the lens that zooms forward, not ruining the quality of the image. Whereas with a digital zoom, that's actually punching into the image with a significant loss in quality. I'd always suggest trying to get closer, physically closer to the subject before you use a digital zoom, as that is what most phone cameras do. So you'd be surprised at how much framing can elevate your photos. Whether you're following the rule of thirds or if you want to get creative with it, there's some really easy things you can do to maximize your framing real estate. Most phone cameras have an option where you can make a grid appear on the screen. Use this camera grid to make sure your subject is exactly where you want it. When photographing subjects, take note of what's in the background so you can avoid anything that might distract from the subject itself. When taking photos of people, be intentional with how much of them you want them in the frame. Either shoot their full body or from the waist up. Don't randomly cut them off at their shins. It's very easy to fall into the trap of staging every photo opportunity, and there's nothing wrong with that. Being able to control your scene can be beneficial at times, but if you really want to capture that perfect memory and moment, try taking more candid photos. A candid smile is always better than a canned one, and a candid photo is often better than a staged one. It can be a little bit harder to try and get that photo because you have less control over your environment, but once you get it, it's gold dust. Your photos don't always have to be of people. Sometimes on your travels, the best subjects can be the buildings themselves. It's great to look up occasionally and just take in the stunning architecture from a different perspective than you're used to. Which leads me nicely onto the next point. For the most part, when you're taking photos, you're probably taking the photo at eye level. But when you think about it, this is probably actually the least interesting way of taking a photo, as we're all used to seeing the world that way. Try and get creative with the angles that you're using to take your photos. 2 easy ways of doing this. Number 1 is just get low and use a low angle. This can really emphasize the size of your subject. The second way is to shoot through something or have something in the foreground. This is a great way to add depth to your shot, and it also acts as a secondary frame to your original frame. Ditch the Instagram filters. Simple edits can be a great way to elevate your photos. Photo editing can be a little bit intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. There's a whole host of great mobile phone photo editing apps out there that are easy to use, so you can edit your photos on the go. So those were our top tips of how to get your travel photography to the next level using just your smartphone. But remember, the best way to improve is just to keep taking photos. And if you don't have any trips planned, you can always practice a little bit closer to home. If you feel like there are any tips that we missed out that you think would be useful, just leave a comment below.
If you like this video and you want to see more camp and travel content, make sure you like this video and hit subscribe.